Well, we got we gotta do what we gotta do. Hey y'all, we're live. Look, according to worldbackpackers.com, the average budget for a vacation in Europe costs about $100 to $200 per day. And hey, that's staying in hostels, that's staying in budget hotels a part of the time, and all of that.
Yeah. And we just spent 17 days in Belgium, and guess how much it cost us? Go on, guess. I'll give you a minute. Guess.
So that's not including airfare, though, right?
Not including airfare, no.
All right. So how much?
It costs us about $50 a day. $50 a day.
So, and that is with no hostels or roachy budget hotels. All right. So if you want to know how we did that, you need to stick around. Stick around, right? Because Rick and I took our first international trip about 15 years ago, like 2008, right?
Yep,
2008, we went to South Africa.
Yeah, we made a huge mistake off of that trip.
No, we made tons of huge mistakes, right?
Oh, excuse me. Tons of huge mistakes.
But we learn because look, y'all, we charged that trip, and 5 years later, we were still paying on it. Yeah.
And after that, it was cash and carry, baby.
That's right. So we are going to tell you about all of the tips and tricks that we have learned from doing this stuff, right? From doing this stuff from the hooter to the tutor, right? We're gonna tell you about accommodations, affordable flights, right? The amazing experiences that we've been able to handle, right?
Yeah.
What else?
Let's introduce ourselves first.
Well, first.
I want to introduce.
Wait, because we're even going to give you some packing trips.
Oh, give you how to pack stuff so you can avoid all those crazy fees. Because the airport will charge you crazy fees at the gate.
Right.
They will hurt your feelings.
That's right. And we want to be able to tell you that, look, you can have an unforgettable getaway, right? Like you can have that exotic getaway without busting the bank, right? Right? Without getting in debt, right? Without paying $100 to $200 per day necessarily, unless you want to live large. Look, if you want to live large and you got it like that, this might not be the video for you. But for those of us who are late bloomers and who are still trying to reach fire, this is something that we had to figure out in order to make our retirement happen sooner than later, because we did not want to have that kind of retirement that was just about struggle.
No.
Right. All right. So now we can introduce ourselves. Yes.
You already said
it. Hey, y'all. My name's Halisa.
And I'm Rick. Welcome to our Black Utopia.
On our channel, we talk about money, we talk about travel, we talk about retiring abroad. We help folks who look like us, who have gotten close to retirement age and forgot to plan, get their money straight so that they can retire on time or maybe even early.
Early is always a good thing.
Right. So what are we talking about today, sweetheart?
So today we're talking about how to plan an exotic vacation on a budget.
Yeah. But first, if you're new to our channel, then you might not know. And if you see us looking to the side, that's because we got notes. We want to make sure that we give you all of the information that we have recalled from our past trips, as well as things that we have researched, right? So if you are new to our channel, then you might not know that about, I don't know, y'all. 2018, however many years ago that was, we got a wake-up call. We looked at our money and it looked crazy.
Crazy. Real crazy. It was insanely crazy.
But we got our financial act together and we went from negative 22,000 to over 1.1 million in net worth. So If any of that sounds interesting to you, please subscribe. Subscribe. We know that over half of you who watch our videos are not subscribed. So subscribe. Don't have those commitment issues, right?
Yeah.
Hit that notification bell so that you know every single time that we go live. And if you find this information helpful, please hit that like button as you come in. First of all, we see everybody who is in the chat right now is part of the community. So go ahead and hit that like button so that you right, so that you let YouTube know that this is something that needs to be shared with other people. Look, after you hear these tips and tricks, right? And how affordable we did some of these things. You may be thinking about, look, I can't retire right now, but maybe I want to take a sabbatical.
Yeah.
If that's you, and you are a Black woman, or you are a man who is related to a Black woman, then you cannot miss the Exodus Summit. The Exodus Summit starts next weekend. I'm going to be a speaker. I'm a little bit kind of stoked about that. I like, this is a full circle moment, right?
It is. It truly is.
This is a full circle moment. So for me, this is a big deal. And so if you are one of those folks who wants to take a sabbatical, who wants to travel abroad, right? Who wants to move abroad, then the Exodus Summit is for you. And that information is in the description below. You can click our link and go ahead and register for that. But if Portugal is the place, then we have the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit. You might need to do both. I'm not like, they're both so affordable. As a matter of fact, the both of them together are less than your average consultant call with an immigration attorney, right? And so between the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit, that information is in the description below. And the Exodus Summit, that information again is in the description below. We've got you covered, right? Yeah. All right. So we are going to go ahead and get started. Let's move ahead. Here we go. So the first thing that we want to talk about, and then first, before I get started, because it's not like we know everything.
Oh, no. We're learning something all the time.
Right?
All the time.
We do not know everything. And so if you are in the chat right now, if you're watching live, this is a crowdsourcing effort. Okay. So we're going to give you our information, and then we want you also to add anything that you've learned that we have not talked about. All right. So come on, we're going to help. The community is going to help the community, because this is how we do, right? And then if you're watching from the future, hey. Let us know what we have forgotten. Let us know some tips and tricks that you have found that have helped you in the past, that you think our community needs to know. Because the bottom line is, it's very interesting as we watch, information and this and that. We're like, gosh, our parents didn't know that. They didn't talk about this. They didn't talk about that, right? This is one of those things, because if your parents are anything like our parents, they did some traveling in the United States, and they gave us some family vacations.
Yeah,
in the United States.
My parents were very limited,
right?
In any travel they did.
So. Exactly. And so this is not necessarily something that you grew up just expecting that this would be part of your life. This was something that rich folk do, right? Rich folk do. So, but we are going to dispel that thought process, and we're going to tell you how you can do this thing, luxury. Because look, y'all, I'm just going to tell you, I'm bougie. Am I bougie? Look, I'm not bougie.
You're not bad bougie.
I'm bougie when it comes to accommodations. I am not bougie when it comes to people. People are people, and I love human beings. But when it comes to accommodations, I'm a little bougie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm a little bougie. All right. So the first thing we're going to talk about is affordable flights.
Yes,
All right.
definitely.
All right.
Yeah.
So how can one find affordable flights?
Well, there's a lot of companies out there that you can look at. You can look at places like Google Flights.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, they offer a lot of comprehensive views on flights and all over the world.
Yeah. And I actually wanted to show you an example because the thing with Google Flights, this is the thing that I really like. And if you okay, so the number one thing is keep your dates flexible. If you can keep your dates flexible,
Yes.
then you can find flights for the least amount of money. And what I like is when you go on a Google Flights and just say explore. And I was going to show you guys this. Let me see if I can pull it up. But if you hit explore, then it will pull up flights from wherever it thinks you are. Because if you're using a VPN, which you should be, it's going to look like wherever you think you are, right? But if you pull up Google Flights, and I'm pulling it up right now, and then oops, and then you hit explore. Let me go back to explore. And then I'm going to show you all. Okay, let's see if I can get this to share. Present, share screen. Here we go. All right. So let's see what we're looking at here. All right. So you guys see that, right? If you hit explore, you get prices from your place to all of the other places, and you can expand that, right? You can expand that and expand that and get other cities. But I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. Look at these flights. And so if you are flexible in where you want to go and when you want to go, you can find the most incredible flights to places you might not have considered, right? Yeah. Because we all have in our mind, okay, London, Paris, Rome, right? We all have those bucket list places in mind. But if you are a traveler as opposed to a tourist, then you might explore some of these places that may be a little less known, but have a flight that is in your price range. So y'all see these flights, right? Barcelona, 34, Rome, 52 euro.
Hey, 40.
And at 40, right? Like just add on about 7 to 10% to that price and you get the dollar amount. Grenada, 42, Malta, 42. What else? Athens, 81, right? And so all of these places, all all of these places are accessible to you at that. I just love Google Flights. So I always start on Google Flights. One, because Google is one of the best search platforms there is out there, right? And so they really are grabbing from all different places. But when it's time for us, like Rick and I have decided that every 6 to 8 weeks, we take a week off and we go somewhere. And so what I start doing is I look on that Google Flights Explorer and say, okay, where can we afford to go? Because I'm not trying to break the bank.
No.
Right? I am not I am not trying to break the bank. So
a little bit more money to spend when you get there.
That part. So Google Flights, I love it. And then the other thing is you can add price alerts. Right. So if you log in, and we usually just log in through our Google, okay, here's a pro tip. Don't log in to anything through Facebook. Not to anything. All right. Besides Facebook. Because Facebook trips, and if they cancel your account, then you are canceled from all of those other places that you used Facebook to log in. All right. So when we log into Google, we log into whatever Google ID we have, and then we can set those price alerts, and it will send us an email. Either to our Gmail. You don't have to have a Gmail to have a Google account. You do not have to have a Gmail to have a Google account, right? And so, and so when we were going to Girona and even to Brussels, right? I put in there a price alert because it's like, okay, well, I see the ranges. If it gets down to this, alert me. Yeah. Now, at a certain point, I'm just going to say, I've got to buy it. And the pro tip here is if you are in the United States and you are thinking about the best prices internationally, I would start looking 6 months in advance. Now, it used to be 3 months in advance, right? Used to be 3 months in advance. And here, I want to say that it still is 3 to 4 months in advance. But I would start looking at 6 months in advance and see if those price trackers in Google Flights and the other places that we're going to tell you about shows that they are able to give you some statistics on when the best time to purchase is. All right. Number 2 under finding affordable flights is
Skyscanner.
Yeah.
It compares prices with flights. You can also use it with travel agents and flexible searching for multiple city trips.
Yeah. So that's the thing, right? So y'all know we're going to Thailand. And within Thailand, it makes sense to do one-way flights because we're going from city to city to city to city to city and then back to Bangkok and from Bangkok back to Lisbon. And so when I was looking, I found that, Skyscanner really had a user-friendly tool to easily be able to put in multiple cities.
Okay.
So I love that. Now, one of the first ones that I found out about was Kayak.
Kayak's been around for a long time.
Kayak's been around, y'all. I used Kayak when we went to South Africa back in 2008. It has been around, but it's still a powerful tool, right? Because it scans multiple travel sites. It compares prices and includes deal for hotels, for rental cars, etc. Right? And so Kayak is still a good tool to use to compare prices. And then what's the next one?
Hopper.
Yeah.
Focuses on predicting future prices.
Yeah.
Predicting future prices and allowing you to track flights and book when the prices are expected to drop.
Yeah. So so Google Flights has a price predictor, but I think Hopper's is a little better. And so, look, I don't think that if money is an issue, like if you don't want to just spend whatever, I don't believe that you can just use one tool here. All right. And I use multiple tools, and which is why it takes me so long to plan big trips. But this is the sacrifice that I'm willing to make, not to have to work 9 to 5 so that I can afford not to think about it. hey, right? And so when I put in things into Hopper, one of the things that I do, so first of all, you have to have an account. It's free. All this stuff is free. All right. They just want your email address so that they can send you bulk stuff.
Marketing.
Right. But at the same time, I could say, like, especially if you're planning in advance, and that's one of the other things that that we're gonna talk about, like when we went to Europe the first time, how much we planned in advance and stayed out of debt. But the thing about it is with Hopper is you can put in the price that you're willing to pay once you see what over time that price has been. And it's like, okay, if it's been as little as, let's just say from back east to, I don't know, Rome, if it's been as little as 400, then anything under 600 or less, you need to ping me and let me know. Right. And so Hopper's really, really good at that. There are other platforms that are good at that as well, but I prefer Hopper for that kind of
thing. Okay. And then one that's been around for even a longer time than Kayak, Captain Kirk used to always advertise it.
Did he?
Priceline.
I mean, even back in the day, the one thing that I liked about Priceline, so I remember, and you might not remember this, when we were in San Francisco, no, way back when we were in San Francisco after our family reunion, and we decided that we were good because we didn't have a flight, we were driving. So we could stay longer because we were driving. We didn't have to catch no flight, right? And we decided we were going to stay in the Bay Area for another few days. So I went down. So we had gotten, what hotel was it? I can't remember what hotel, but
Crown Plaza.
Thank you, Crown Plaza, right? And it was a nice hotel.
Yeah.
Now the thing is that part of the hotel was under construction because it was being renovated, and we were staying in the opposite wing. And so, y'all, even in 2006, 2007, because this is how long ago this was, we were getting, even back then, we were getting a Crown Plaza hotel room for $35 per night. $35 per night. And then we decided, we met up with some friends, some family members, et cetera, et cetera. We're like, okay, we need to stay a few extra days. And so I went down to the front office. I'm like, look, we stayed here 3 days at $35 a night. I want to continue this. And they're like, well, we can't offer you that. It's going to be $109 a night or whatever they said. I was like, oh, hell no. So I went back up to the room, logged into Priceline, and it's like a bidding thing, and you know what you're bidding for. And I bid, and we got 3 more nights for $35 a night. And then I got a message saying, okay, your reservations are renewed. So all I did was go back downstairs, showed her my reservation, and said, can you just apply this to the room that we're already in so that we don't have to move? Of course, they were fine with doing that. And so we were able to stay another 3 nights for $35 per night. Now, in the United States, that is not normal, right?
Right.
All right. Tip number 2. So tip number 1 was flight comparison websites. We gave you Google Flights, Skyscanner, Kayak, Hopper, and Priceline. There are others. And if you have others that you really, really like, let us know in the chat. Put a Q in front of it. Let us know in the chat so that we can share it with other folks.
Yeah, even what you use.
What do you use? Yeah. What do you use? All right. Tip number 2.
Be flexible on your times and your dates. For travel.
Yeah. Because I always use the calendar version of every website. Now, whether it is Google Flights or if it's the airline in particular, because more often than not, our dates are pretty flexible and within a 1 or 3 days, right? And 1 or 3 days can make the difference of saving $100, $200, $300, $400 per person. Seriously. Like leaving on a Tuesday as opposed to a Thursday can make all of the difference. Now, here's the thing. You got to check the ROI with accommodations. If you save $300, but then have to spend $300 in accommodations for those extra 2 days, then it's not worth it, right? But if you already know that accommodations in the place that you're going, like we're going to Asia, right? The accommodations are much less expensive than what we would expect here. It does make sense. So be flexible with your dates and your times. Tip number 3.
Consider nearby airports for better deals.
Yeah. This makes more sense in the United States, but does make sense here. And the reason why, especially in the major cities in the United States, when we fly into LA, we could fly into LA, we could fly into Orange County, we could fly into Burbank, we can fly into what's the one closest to way out there where
Ontario.
Ontario. See how I say way out there? He tried to say he's from LA. He ain't from LA. So we could fly
I
into
just happen to live out
we can fly into Ontario, we can fly into Burbank, we can fly into LA, we can fly into Orange County. So those are 4 airports, depending upon where your final destination is. And sometimes we found that flying from Colorado to Burbank or flying from Colorado to Ontario made more sense than flying in to LAX. So,
yeah.
right. And the same is true with London, right? The same can be true with other major cities that have more than one airport in the metro area.
Mhm.
And then lastly, tip number 4.
Sign up for fare alerts and newsletters.
So we kind of talked about
You
this,
mentioned that, yeah.
but newsletters. So I've found travel blogs that I really like that are up to date, that keep their material up to date and add to it on a regular basis. Because look, some travel blogs, they've kind of stopped, and that doesn't mean that the information that's on there is no longer valid. But if you want a newsletter, you want a travel blog that is still active. And then if you look at the big ones, like Scott's Travel is now called Going.
Mhm.
So going.com, we are a member of that, as well as some others. So those are the things that we subscribe to. But still, like especially going to Thailand as we are, I have found some travel bloggers who are a little bit off of the beaten path. Well, maybe all of them are, but we haven't gone off the beaten path. Maybe that's the thing. And so I found some travel bloggers who are really, really good and give very good information, very detailed information about areas and hotels and experiences, etc. And so when you find those, if they have a sign up and you are into travel, if you need to take a sabbatical, right? Either of those 2 things, sign up. Sign up, get their newsletter, and you can always unsubscribe if they are not adding value to your life. And with that said, let's go ahead and say hello to the folks who are in the chat.
Sounds good.
All right. So let's see. We're already half hour in. Okay. Hello. How are you?
Hello.
I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Olinka. I think it's Olenka. Olenka, maybe. It's new.
Olenka.
Welcome, 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 welcome.
Yeah.
We are so happy that you are here. And welcome to the Our Black Utopia family,
Hey,
fellow
Pinky.
Utopian. Hey, Pinky, good to see you. Callie C. Hello to you. Happy Sunday, purging in the garage while listening. All right, somebody is getting ready to move abroad. I love it. I love it. Look, y'all, we have, especially for us who are over a certain age and we've been living in a place for a long time, y'all don't even realize how much stuff you've accumulated. Because if you're anything like we were,
and we weren't the
were.
worst of them.
No, we weren't.
This
No, we
story's
weren't.
driving me crazy.
So, do you want me to close it? Hey, Winnie. Hey, Allison. Hola. Hope all is well. Yes, it was a lovely day. Very breezy here. Thankfully, we had forest fires and things like that about 3 months ago. 3 weeks ago. And so the rains and things like that have definitely helped. So we appreciate that. Thank you, God. Hey, Greta.
Hey, Greta.
Good to see you in the chat. Vicky is in the chat.
Yeah.
Kay Renee. Okay. So all of my Southern California people, I've got, y'all know who you are. I'm not going to call you all out. But our condo is up for rent. And so if you want, like, this is right next to Culver City. I'm sorry, but we got to rent this thing out. It has been too long. So I am calling on all my peeps. If you know someone who needs a place to rent, then let us know. Hello at ourblackutopia.com. Hey, Diane, good to see you. Luxury Bucket List is in the house. Karen Louise, I'm talking to you too. Greetings and blessings.
80 degrees in LA.
Shout out from sunny 80 degrees in LA. Look, if you know someone, Karen, if you know someone who needs a place, let us know, right? Professor is in the house. His thumbnail on Black Utopia is divine. Happy Sunday. I love it. Look, that was a cross between Krishan's birthday when we were all dressed up, right? And some stock photo. So, hey, CK, good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, this buenos todas. Buenos todas. Tase, I'm not sure, or Tas, I'm not sure where you are from because we usually say buenas tardes in Spanish or here, gosh, I just got a brain fart. Boa tarde. Boa tarde here in Portugal. I'm not sure where buenas todas is from or todas. I'm not sure. Let us know. Let us know. Hey, Action VJ. Okay, when you coming? When you coming?
He said he was coming November.
Well, don't be telling his business. Don't be telling his business.
I didn't say when.
So you send us a text. Send us a text because we want to know. The luxury bucket list is in the house. My mom always would say I had a champagne taste on a beer pocketbook. Look, that's me.
That's everybody.
That's me. That's me. I'm looking forward to the stream as always. Thank you, Luxury Bucket List. Yes. That was one of the things keeping us from retiring when we had enough money to retire, but not necessarily to travel the way we want to travel, right? Figuring this part out was a thing that was like that changed. Look, I was good. Like, I want out. But for you, when I started showing you stuff, you were like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. And so this is one of the things. And so we're going to give you all of the things that we have learned, and how we stayed in Brussels for only $50 per night. So stick around. Hey, Greta.
Hey, Greta.
Killer Queen is in the house. We just talked to Killer Queen a little bit ago, so he's excited. Hey, Kimmy, good to see you. We're glad you are here. Wanda is in the house. Hey, KB. Yes, happy Sunday to you. And I want to make sure that I'm pronouncing your name right. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. James is in the house. Bortad. Tanya is in the house. Bye. Pacific Northwest is in the house, right? Thank you. Hey, Yakota. When are y'all coming back?
I know.
When are y'all coming back, right? Tanya LL Cooper is in the house. Let's see. Who else do we have? We have Jametta. Good to see you. Jametta. Seems like we just saw you a couple of days ago. Personality speaking. I needed this a few weeks ago. I just booked our 30th anniversary trip to Puerto Rico.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, no. Is it totally booked? Is it 100% booked? Is there anything that you can do over? We love Puerto Rico. It was really, really
Puerto
pretty.
Rico was cool. When we went there, they had just had the hurricane.
And it was still gorgeous.
And they were still
right.
Beautiful places.
It really was, right? Yeah, but this was after the hurricane right before the pandemic. Well, maybe not right before,
no, it was.
But somewhere between 2016 and 2019, we went to Puerto Rico. And yeah, we really like it. We really like it a lot. So, hey, Shanora, good to see you. Kimberly.
Hey, Shanora.
Is this Kimberly? Kimberly, that's a new name. Kimberly. Sterling from Brooklyn, New York. Hey there. Kimberly. Good to see you. Welcome to our Black Utopia. We got the coaches.
The coaches are in the house.
They're in the house. Geraldine, I love it. Stylists and suitcases. Done with that backpacker life. We're going to talk about that. Done with my backpacker life in my early 20s. Now I'm quickly approaching 60 next year. I am needing semi-luxury, right? Like, that's the thing, right? We're not talking about, having a necessarily a butler or something in your suite,
Right.
right? We ain't going there.
No.
Like let's get real with the thing. We're not going there, but there is a way that you can have lovely vacations, exotic vacations that are on a budget, but give you, look, I'm bougie, y'all. I'm just going to tell you. I'm just going to tell you, I'm bougie, and we need to be able to do what we need to do so that we feel comfortable. And so the vacation does not feel like a prison sentence, right? And I'm being hyperbolic, but you know what I mean. All right. So the first thing we talked about was finding affordable flights. If I didn't say hello to you, Prices Pratt, and all of you, we love you. We love you. We know, we see you. We see you. All right. So number three is
Accommodations.
Yeah.
Budget accommodations.
So tip number one.
Tip number one is travel with a friend and share your accommodations.
Yeah. So
share the cost of them.
So we're going to Thailand, and two of our good friends that y'all have seen on this channel a few times are traveling with us. Actually, there's a lot of folks going to Thailand at the same time because we're going there to celebrate one of our good friends whom we met here. All right, who we met here. This is how community works when you move abroad. I'm just trying to tell you, you don't have to be abroad and lonely. As a matter of fact, I would say we might have been more lonely in the United States than we are here. But in any event, back to that. So we decided with this one couple that we would share Airbnbs, right? And so we're going to visit 3 different cities together. Actually 4 different cities together. The last city, I think we found that it was less expensive to get a hotel room. But the other 3 cities, we are sharing 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 2.5-bath in some cases, Airbnbs with this other couple that we already know that we love to travel with.
And we did the same thing in South Africa with Lamar and Angela.
Yes, with Lamar and Angela from Querétaro, Mexico. Right. And so we did that twice with them in 2 different places, both in Cape Town and Johannesburg. And now we are doing the same in Thailand. And so for 17 days, y'all, for 17 days worth of accommodation so far, it is costing us $556. Okay, let me see. Let me do that math. $556. And we are staying in Airbnbs that are, we didn't find them through booking.com or VRBO or anything else. We went to the Airbnb website and look, they're just as bougie as they're just as bougie as we are. So these are not like, what kind of place is this? No, this is like with infinity pools, places that have, the weight room, the exercise room, the pool, the spa, and all of that within the apartment complex. Yeah, like that. So divided by 17. $32 a night. $32 a night, right at this point for our Thailand vacation. So traveling with friends and sharing accommodation costs is really, really effective. So find some folks who, are not the opposite of you that you can travel with. And this is a good way to travel and stay within budget or even under budget.
Yeah.
Tip number 2.
Explore alternative lodging like hostels or vacation rentals. Yeah. I don't know if I could do hostels, but that's my personal preference.
I think I could do a hostel if we had our own room, because some hostels do have private rooms and then you share shared space, like the kitchen, the sitting room, and stuff like that, right? Some hostels even have en suites, where you have a private room with your own bathroom, and then you share space. And so at this stage in my life, sharing sleeping space, that ain't gonna work for me. That's not gonna
Yeah,
work
and
for
that's what
me.
I'm looking at. It's like,
That's not gonna work for me.
eh.
Now, if I were traveling solo and it was just for a night or two, I could do a hostel. I could do a hostel. As long as I could lock my stuff up, I could do a hostel if I were traveling solo, but not with you. That I mean, that just doesn't even make sense,
Well, I'm not really looking
right?
forward
That
to
doesn't
doing
even make sense.
hospitals.
But on Booking.com and VRBO and places like that, we also had some other ones. Did I mention them? We will get to them. But places like that, I think Mondo is one of them. There are um, places that you can get for much, much less than what a hotel would cost, you know. And I don't know about you, but I'm not a tourist. We're more of travelers. So we like
Right.
to, we like to explore, but we don't go from place to place to place to place to place. So every day, we're on the move, doing stuff, doing stuff. Like if you're doing one of those 1 week, and then you need a vacation from your
Right. You
vacation,
got to see
American type
everything.
vacation, maybe a hotel is okay. But if it's raining and I'm there for 7 days, I'm out in that rain. Like you remember how it was when we were in Rome, and it
Oh
was
my
raining
gosh.
cats and dogs,
That was
right?
crazy.
And we, and we were at the Coliseum because like we were on that American vacation where every day was planned and
Yeah, you
structured,
had to be doing something every day.
and because then you got to go home, go back to work, and we had our umbrella,
I
and
had never been that wet in my whole life.
right. It took 3 days for his boots to dry out.
It was crazy. But it was Rome. It was still beautiful, and I
Yeah,
enjoyed
yeah, it
it. But
was. Yeah, it was.
I had never been that wet in my life.
Exactly. Exactly. And so nowadays, I think travel is about exploring and less about an IG photo. And so if it's really raining cats and dogs, I'm gonna stay in. And it's hard to stay into a hotel room.
Hmm.
So I don't prefer hotels, but you can get last minute accommodations in hotels for very, very good prices. And we will give you that site. As a matter of fact, that's tip number 3, which is Hotel Tonight, hoteltonight.com. And I looked on there and I found some very, very good deals. As a matter of fact, some of the deals I found were about 50% less than they were on Kayak. But
Hmm.
again, you got to be flexible, right?
Right.
If you need everything to be boom, 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 then this might not work for you. But Hotel Tonight, I was impressed.
Okay.
I was impressed.
I've never looked at it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, that's because I do all the planning for the trips. Yeah.
She's good at it. You're excellent at it.
Oh, oh, is that
I
why?
provide the security.
He provides the security. All right. All right. Tip number 4.
Consider house sitting or, you know, house swapping.
Yeah. House swapping, home exchanges, things like that. Um, there is a couchsurfer.com. Look, I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to do that.
Yeah, that
Okay.
just sounds wrong to me.
But if you're younger, this is something that you can do,
Okay.
right? If you're younger and you don't mind that, and you can stay in somebody's house and not feel stay in somebody's house while they're there, right? Not like Airbnb while they're there. Then places like or sites like couchsurfer.com may work for you. But for us, I don't mind staying in someone else's house as long as it's just us there. And so we are members of Trusted House Sitters, and we have a link in the description below. I thought I had already uploaded it, but I didn't. In our new budget travel, so we have a budget travel checklist, and I have updated it to include a lot of the things that we're talking about tonight. I thought I had already uploaded it and I had not. So if you're watching from the future, hey, it's probably
Hey,
already in the link below, but give me another hour after we're off air and I will make sure that that is uploaded.
mhm.
But trusted house sitters, that is in the description below. And so if you want to know one of the ways that we were able to stay in Belgium for 17 days, because we stayed there for 2 weeks, 14, 15, 16, 17, yeah, 17 to 18 days in Belgium at less than $50, about $50 a night or so, is because we had free accommodations. We had free accommodations because we went through trustedhousesitters.com. Trustedhousesitters.com is in the description below. So we were able to stay in, okay, so first of all, I'm not staying in a place, I don't care where it is, that is not as nice as the apartment that we live in. So that part.
Yeah, but it was a nice apartment
It was a very nice apartment, right?
in a beautiful area.
Yeah, we were in one of the upper scale
Mhm.
neighborhoods. Belgium is very expensive. I don't know if we just went through Airbnb what that would have cost, but
Yeah.
I know what it wouldn't have cost. This is what it would not have cost, right? And this is how much we paid. Now, if you take the membership, because Trusted House Sitters does have a membership fee because they do background checks on both the people you're going to sit for and the house sitters
Right.
ourselves. So there is a fee. We have an upgraded membership that includes insurance in case anything goes wrong. We'll cover hotel in case they need to cancel, et cetera, et cetera. Now, one of the things about house sitting is on Trusted House Sitters, you really are a pet sitter. So if you don't like pets, then this is probably not the move for you. There are house sits that do not include pets, but they're very few and far between these days. They can still be found. They can still be found, but in general, they're very few and far between. So um, we love pets, and unfortunately, our dog that we had in Colorado passed away, and so this is our way of being like
Hey,
pet
you
grandparents,
get your little pet fix.
right? Yes, definitely.
But we didn't have to, when we went to Belgium, Rosie was gone, so we didn't have to dog sit the dog because the dog had passed away.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And the owner, her owner, was gracious enough to say, "Hey, you guys, I'm still taking the trip I'm taking. You are welcome to use my apartment."
Yeah. Yeah, so we stayed in his gorgeous upper middle class apartment that was bigger than our apartment, definitely, and in a prime location right
Mhm.
next to the Rodeo Drive of Brussels, um,
Yeah,
for free.
secure
For free.
apartment.
Right. And I felt bad because usually, when we're doing house sitting, we're at least taking care of
Take
their
care of the
pets.
dog.
So their cats, their dogs, whatever, right? And so we're like, but this time we didn't do anything to earn it. And so he actually had a package that came in and he asked us to pick it up. So that was
Yeah,
so that was the least we could do. So we went because it was near the tourist area
it was near the
anyway.
tourist area. We were down that way,
Anyway.
and we were catching the transportation from that place back to the apartment. So it's
Yeah, it
not like
wasn't
we
even
were really going out of the way.
Not at all. We did not go out of the way at all. Picked up his little package, found some other things at the store that we like because, USPS is not a thing in most of the rest of the world. It's just not, right? And so picked up some other stuff from the store, got his package, and everybody was happy. So these are the kind of things. The other thing that you can do is work away, which means that you are definitely trading labor for a place to stay. Sometimes it could be watching the kids, it it's random. It's random. It could be anything from light chores to heavy chores, et cetera, et cetera. Sometimes like working on a farm or this or that. So if you want to have a vacation that's a little bit more adventurous and you don't mind doing some manual labor, usually it's room and board, right? Like trusted house sitters, it's just room, right? It's not expected that you're necessarily going to eat these people out of house and home. But for workaway, it's usually room and board. So check that out if you want a more adventurous but still cool vacation that can be luxurious because you're going to places that are exotic. We're not talking about doing this in Kansas, right? We're talking about doing this on the countryside of Germany or the countryside of France or something like that. It could really be a cool experience.
And you get to experience living around the locals for sure.
Exactly. Exactly. Tip number 5 under accommodations is
look for accommodations that have a kitchen.
Yeah.
That you can use so you can cook meals in.
Yeah.
To save on food costs.
Yeah. So one of the ways that we were able to do Belgium at $50 per day is that breakfast. I'm a breakfast person, and so breakfast was always in house. Obviously, we're house sitting, so we had a full kitchen. We always go to the grocery store. First thing is water. You know, we're not ever sure if we can drink the water there. Not that it would necessarily be dangerous to our system the way it is in some countries.
And the water in Belgium is weird.
It's very hard. It's very mineral.
Very hard, yes.
Minerally.
It's very hard.
Yeah. It's got a lot of lime. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
okay.
There's lime in it.
So, and did he have a Brita? No, he didn't have a Brita.
No, he didn't have a Brita.
So we ended up going to buy water. But that's my first thing. Buy water until I know what the deal is. And sometimes I just don't like the taste of their water. For coffee or anything else. But, you know, you buy some eggs, you buy this, you buy that, and then you are not always ordering out or going out to eat for every single meal. Belgium is very expensive. And the average meal here costs us about, like for both of us, and I'm talking about dinner out, not Taco Bell, but dinner out, $25. And that's with everything. On average.
Yeah.
Right.
We definitely missed the Portugal price.
Yes, we did.
We
did. Because it was double and triple.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
It was double and triple. Even when we were just getting like sandwiches, right? It was double and triple. Yeah. And so one of the ways that we're able to travel more often and stay in lovely places in cities that are very expensive is and you get tired of eating out anyway, right? I don't want first thing in the morning that we got to get dressed to go out to find some food. Even if you stay in a hotel that has breakfast included, you can't you can't just go down in your robe and slippers, right? So, when you don't feel like doing that, it is so nice to have a kitchen to be able to do these things, right? All right. So that's accommodation. So we already covered how to find affordable airfare, how to find affordable accommodations. And now we will look at your questions and see what you all are talking about. Now I see there's almost 200 people in here. I hope y'all are hitting the like button if you find this information helpful. Please hit the like button so that YouTube knows to show to share it with other folks.
Yeah, and if you haven't been here before, subscribe.
Yes, Personality Speaking. That's a new name. Karen, good to see you in the chat. All right, let me see. I'm looking for questions. So y'all know, the folks who have been here, y'all know. So see, that's why we need to get back to having more unions, because they were looking out. And folks are tripping thinking that unions are part of the problem. So I don't need to book my June 2025 flights by November 2024. Oh, okay. Thank you, CK. Did I say, I can't remember if I said, one of the things that I've learned, because the conventional wisdom used to be 3 months prior to.
Right.
For flights. But for international, start 6 months. start 6 months ahead of time. And I made that mistake. I made that mistake when we were going to South Africa, and I saw the prices actually go up from what I saw them from originally. So I would start 6 months out if it's an international trip. If it is within if you're in the United States, and I know everyone watching is not from the United States, but if you are in your home country, then 3 months out is what I would recommend. And then go onto these sites and see what the statistics are for the prices. Hopper has that, Google Flights has that, right? And it will show you what the statistics are, what the highs are, the lows are, and what they expect it to do in the near future. And so that's what we anticipate. So if you're coming to the June 2025 meetup, information for that meetup is in the description below. We have not started selling tickets yet, but it is the Monday and Tuesday of Juneteenth, as it always is. And so if you want to be on the waiting list so that you know exactly when the tickets go on sale, because those will be the cheapest prices, probably before I have anything negotiated. That information is in the description below. But yeah, so if I were in the States and coming to Lisbon in June, I actually would start right now, by November, even for Airbnbs, so that you can see the best prices available. We started looking at Airbnbs to be here in June 2022. I looked at first like in January, and I was like, oh, but I didn't book anything. I was like, oh, these prices are good. Oh, no problem. Then I looked back in like March, April, and all those good prices that I saw were gone. They were gone. And so we ended up booking on the other side of the river, which actually, for our purposes, was a good choice, because it made us explore more of the Lisbon metro area. And this was part of our scouting trip. But if you're not scouting, if you're just coming here for a vacation, start looking at least 6 months in advance, both for your Airbnb and for flights. And then put the trackers on to see if this is, higher than usual, lower than usual, et cetera, et cetera. All right. What else do we got here? I've gotten some good deals, CK. I've gotten some good deals like that Crown, what is it?
Crown Plaza.
Crown Plaza. I've gotten some good deals. It's frustrating. And so if you don't have patience, I understand. But yeah, I've gotten some good deals. I booked my entire Lisbon vacation in November on Priceline flights and hotel for all under 2,000. That sounds great, Allison. How long are you going to be here? How long are you going to be here? And it's a vacation. So is your vacation in November? So you're coming next month? Is that what I'm hearing? Is that what I'm hearing? That's it. Momondo. Thank you, Winnie. So this is why we have community. This is why we have community. So I looked on Momondo, and they also have multi-city options that you can use. But I don't know. Maybe it's the GUI didn't work for me. So, but the prices were on point. The prices were on point, and they were finding prices, because I was looking at Thailand. I was looking at from Bangkok to Chiang Mai to Phuket, et cetera, et cetera. And the average price that I saw on Momondo was like 24 euro to 30 euro one way per person. Yeah. So check that out. Kimmy, we like orbits to preview flights, then we go to the actual airlines websites to book. Okay. So another pro tip that Kimmy said, I use the comparison sites to find out what is possible. And then when I find the ones that are the lowest, I go directly to those hotel sites. Sorry, y'all. And I know that these people make money off of advertising and stuff like that. But this is what I've learned. Priceline, no, because you bid, and so it is what it is, right? But for the other ones, I go directly onto the hotel, the Airbnb site, the vacation rental site, and or the airlines directly. So if it is Air France, for instance, then that's showing the lowest price, I go and book it directly on Air France. Why? I have dealt with having to make a change when I've booked through Expedia and all of these other websites. And that's like a third party, as opposed to dealing directly with Marriott, as opposed to dealing directly with Airbnb, that will be a go between. As opposed to dealing directly with Air France, I'm having to deal with a go between, Expedia, and all of these other companies like that. And look, they're about the money, just like the hotel's about the money. But it's easier if you deal directly with the airlines or the accommodations directly. Here's another pro tip: if you are coming in or going out and you've got a very late flight, if you're arriving very late, if you are leaving um, late, I always book a hotel for that last night or that first day. Why? Because luggage. Like if we arrive at 7 a.m. and check-in is not until 3 p.m., or for Airbnb, sometimes not until 4 p.m., right? What are we doing? What are we doing with our luggage? I like to be able to show up at a hotel, go to the concierge and say, can you hold our luggage while we go explore the city or the town or the village, right? I don't want to be like, what, at a cafe somewhere or something with the luggage and everything else, lugging it around. Same with the day out. If we are leaving at 5 p.m. Checkout at most hotels is somewhere between 11 and 1 p.m., 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. Again, they will hold your luggage and then you can, walk around and then come back and grab them before you go to the airport. And so that's one reason why I will book a hotel on one end or the other, depending upon what our flight looks like. So that's that. Let's see what other questions are in the. If you have a VPN, is it better to book your flights using your US VPN? Thank you. Thank you, Greta. I forgot to mention that.
No, I thought we should put that on there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good.
So yes. I have noticed a difference. So we use a VPN. The NordVPN link is in the description below. I think it is under travel, which should be right there. So we will turn on that VPN, and yes, I have found differences in pricing when I am logged in. So when I do anything dealing with the United States government, banks, etc., we're logged in as coming from the United States. And if I forget to change it, Then I'm doing something else, and I'm looking at flights, etc., etc. And I have noticed that when I make a conscious decision to think about it, that when we are logged in as Americans, as opposed to being logged in from here in Portugal or someplace else in the EU, there is a price difference. Yeah. There is a price difference, not always, but too many times to not try it before booking. So thank you, Greta. Thank you for reminding us of that. Yeah, see, when I lived in LA, LAX and Burbank were always options for us. Burbank wasn't close, but LAX was the closest, but Burbank wasn't so far away that it was goofy to even consider it. So yeah, sometimes we fly into Burbank and then sometimes we fly into LA. This is a new name. Toshia Hughes Johnson. Hello, I finally caught a
All
live. Hey
right.
there,
Welcome.
welcome. I'm like, wait a minute, I don't recognize that name. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the OBU family, fellow Utopian. Hopefully, you are subscribed. All right. Can you drop a link to your condo? Um, yeah, I guess I could. I can't do it right now, Professor. Um, but I will put this is kind of weird, but I will put it in the description below after we are off air. And then if anyone knows someone who may want to rent our condominium in Los Angeles, I'm just going to tell you it is only a one bedroom, but is a huge one bedroom with outside space, outside private space, that's big enough. It's got a little garden, and you can put tables and chairs and all of that stuff. And it's in the middle of the city, but still has putting greens and driving greens and stuff like that. So it's in a park-like atmosphere. It's a condominium in a park-like atmosphere in the middle of Los Angeles, y'all. This does not exist anymore. So thank you, Professor. I will do that after. I remember that condo. And if you are interested, hello at ourblackutopia.com, hello at ourblackutopia.com, and I will send you the MLS. All right. Hey, Marguerite.
Hey, Marguerite.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. And Toishia is from Virginia. I think that's the way you pronounce your name, Toishia. I hope I'm not mispronouncing it. Forgive me if I am. Are you guys still in Belgium? No, we're back home.
Back home in Portugal.
Yes, we're in Portugal. If the cost of living was equal to Portugal, would you guys recommend Belgium's culture and the way of life as a place to live, especially for Black Americans? It's hard to say because it's not the same cost of living. It's very different. And chicken and egg, I don't know why things are the way they are. I don't know if it's because it's so expensive that these situations exist, or these situations exist and it's so much more expensive. I don't know. But one thing that I do know is the Black English speaking community there is basically non-existent. Right?
Yeah.
So,
I would say so.
I don't know how they gather, but I do know that we had, y'all saw that we interviewed Leo, right? Who is still there, but has been there for 19 years. We went out to dinner with him and another person who had been there for 21 years, and they had only been in each other's presence one other time after all of those years in the same country. Now, one could say, well, yeah, maybe their interests are different and blah, 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 whoop de woo, right? But here in the Lisbon metro area, it's really hard to run into a Black person who speaks English, who has been here as long as we have or longer, that we've never seen before, right?
Right.
It's rare. It's rare. And there are a lot of us. So like yesterday, did wine tasting, right? With paired with food and this and that. And we had two groups. We had so many people who wanted to do it that Rory, our leader, our wine tasting leader, had to separate it into two different groups. And we did meet a couple that we had never met before, but they'd only been here for 3 or 4 months.
3 months. Yeah.
Right. And we were gone for one of those months. But now we've met them. You see what I'm saying? And so here in Portugal, and especially the Lisbon metro area, and again, I'm just going to keep giving a shout out to Black in Portugal, because they kind of started this atmosphere that really lends itself to a very, very cohesive English speaking African diaspora culture here and community here. And I appreciate it so much. And then that bleeds over into English speakers in general. right? So if you look at Americans and friends in Portugal and things like that, when we get together, we do have situations where there are non-Black folks there. Of course we
Hmm.
do. Um, but and so whether it is with just us or if it's more, broader and just saying English speaking, because sometimes your brain just does not want to think in Portuguese, it makes the difference. It really, really does, Rider Skater. And so there's not just that part, but after being here for a while, there is something about the people here that is just, I don't know,
And
gracious.
I don't know. Maybe if you were retiring there and not depending on having to make money or anything like, maybe that'd make a difference too. Being in Belgium.
Okay, Belgium's gorgeous, and the people that we knew who did not have to try and get a job there love they love it,
Mm.
but they ain't been here. They have not been here to experience what we experience. They've been here to visit. Like Leo was here while we were still there. He was here
He
in
was here in
Porto,
Porto.
and I should have connected him with the folks that we know up in Porto,
I meant to do that.
right? Just so that he could feel what we feel. Like there is a lack of loneliness. I don't know how to describe it. So as it is now, if city, just comparing the cities, I would say yes, maybe, because Belgium is gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. It
But
is.
weather-wise, hell no. Hell no. I'm not doing Lisbon winter in their fall. That means their winter is closer to a Denver winter. And I am
Oh
team
yeah,
boycott
they get snow.
winter. I am team boycott that kind of winter. Seriously. Like here is like a Southern California winter. Yes, it gets chilly, but during the day, you never need more than like a hoodie or something like that. Yeah, nah. So, there's lots more to think about than just what you think about superficially. Keller Queen. Yes, I had a fantastic Ask Us Anything. Oh, thank you, call with Halisi and Rick. It helped me so much. Highly recommend.
Thank you,
Thank
Killer
you.
Queen.
Thank you, Killer Queen. We really, really appreciate that. We did not pay her. We did not pay her to say that. We did not. All right. Looking for questions and then we will move on. Okay, Diane, Thailand sounds interesting. I've been following from lack to legacy. Great content. Okay, okay, is she there? Because I've actually got a email out to her. So I did not know that she was there. So I'll have to check that out. I'm going to be honest, y'all. I'm a little intimidated. This is our first time in Asia. This is our first time besides Greece where we have gone to a place that has a different alphabet system, right? Like we don't understand the letters. Now, my traveling around doing Google Earth walks and stuff like that show me that for the most part they do put westernized symbols to spell out the words
Yeah.
as well. But I'm a little intimidated.
I think
I'm a little intimidated.
you'll be fine.
So look at him. You gonna be fine. You gonna be fine. I would consider one of those tiny, cute capsule hotels in Japan, right? But that's about it. Yeah, Nichelle. So for those of you who have not seen this, hostels. A lot of the hostels here in Europe, there. Don't imagine an American hostel. Okay, a lot of families and adults stay in hostels in other parts of the world. But in the dormitory style rooms, they have these capsules that are kind of like, uh, I don't know, one bedroom tiny house things, right? Like, I don't know, like it's this much space, like a walk in closet type of thing, where it's a capsule. Like you have enough space to stand up, yes, but sleep, a place to put your stuff, et cetera, et cetera. You're using a bathroom that's either a community bathroom or something like that. So, and they are like they're high tech. Some of them are really high tech looking. I've never been in them, so I've never felt it. But yeah, I'm not mad at you. And if I were single, I might be considering the same type of thing. I think especially for single women, the thought of a hostel, the one thing that is in our favor is finding other single female travelers, so that if you end up like not coming back, somebody's like, well, what happened to Halisi? What happened to her, right? Like putting on an alert, right? And it's not like 24, 48 hours later. And you make new friends, right? If you're single and you're in one of these places, you're meeting new friends, and you're actually like, even when we were on a cruise as a couple, but that young couple from Puerto Vallarta, from Puerto Rico,
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
right?
I stay in touch with them.
He's so good.
Yeah.
He's so good. I know we're Facebook friends, but you know how Facebook works. So I don't see their stuff anymore because I'm not on there enough to like it. So it doesn't come up in my feed anymore. But yeah, they were great. And I was asking them lots of questions about Puerto Rico, the culture, this and that, what the thought process is, etc. And your mind opens up.
George and Carol.
So okay.
That's
Is
right.
George okay? And
she's a doctor now.
Is she?
She is.
Wow. She was going to school. That's right. That's right.
And he's an officer in the Air Force.
And they introduced us to banana ketchup.
Yep.
That's right, y'all. That's right. So, you get exposed to different stuff. You get exposed to different cultures. There is something to be said for sharing space with folks. All right. And so I just love learning about different people's experiences and knowing that the way we do it in the United States is not always the way we have to do it. Right. I am Portuguese from the north of Portugal, but right now I live in Florida. I'm sorry, sweetheart, and would love to meet you guys. Well, we'd love to meet you too, Placido or Placido. Placido. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. And this Lisbon accent, you know how it is. It's very, very hard to understand. I say I'm sorry because Florida.
So when you coming back to Portugal?
Exactly. When are you coming back? Personal question. Do you use Chase Sapphire, Amex, Platinum? Highly recommend Amex for the perks, lounge access, etc. Hey, Lisa's
Hey,
GTO.
Lisa.
We are actually going to get to that. And that is actually in our, it's definitely in our budget travel toolkit as well, which I thought I had posted but didn't post. So I will do this after we are live. So yes, and let me see where we get to it. And gems, blah blah, whoop de whoop. I don't know. So we'll just talk about it right now. And it's in the description below. Definitely in the description below. So Chase Sapphire, there's a link in the description below. Now let's give some tips. Here's some pro tips. If you are going, first of all, you need to do a return on investment. Okay. So if you're looking at American Express, both American Express and Chase Sapphire have fees. Okay. They have an annual fee. It can be anywhere from about $100 to $200 and up. So you have to make sure that whatever perks that they are offering are worth that amount of money. You're going to use it to the point where it makes it at least a wash for that 200, and that you get something over and above that. All right.
Yeah, isn't Amex Platinum? Is that one 600? One of them 650.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know because we ain't got it. We do have an American Express, but we don't have the one that's 650.
Yeah.
Ours is like 200 or something. Okay, so if there is a sign up bonus, right? You sign up, you get approved, and they say, get our card, and it's 50,000 points or 65,000 points / miles, etc. If you are a couple, do not get one card and put it in both of your names. Don't do that. Get all the points, get all the miles, all right? And so for instance, for Chase Sapphire, we applied separately. I got my card with the 65,000 bonus sign on miles slash points. He got his card with the 65,000 bonus points. And then afterwards, he added me to his and vice versa. So there would be no issue when we needed to pay bills or swap miles or anything like that.
Right.
Because that is a thing. If you want, let's just say you want to move your Sapphire miles to Delta, to United, right? And me, let's just say me, I have 40,000 United points. I'm going to add his 40,000 Chase points to my United um, um, account so that I could buy the tickets for both of us. They don't allow that. They only allow that if I'm already on his account. All right. So first you apply separately, you get the points in both of your names. Then afterwards you add your partner's name or your spouse's name to have a card under you, and that way you can transfer points without a lot of drama. So that is one thing that we learned. And we, it's not just points. We got Rick's Apple iPhone Pro, whatever you got.
I was a 13 at the time.
13 Pro, very expensive at the time for points. Yeah, points. So it's not just for travel, but for other things that you may need. And the reason why I say that is we got the new phones because the cameras, we knew that we were going to do our Black Utopia. We knew that we wanted to use or to have some kind of equipment for good pictures and video. And, these things are high definition. These things are 4K. And so why spend, $1,000 on this and then $1,000 on an SLR camera on top of that and carrying around all of this stuff? And it's just more equipment to lose, to go through security, to get stolen, because we did get our GoPro stolen. Y'all know that, who've been here for a while. So yeah, all of that. Thank you, Lisa's GTO, for reminding us to talk about points. This is a community effort, y'all. This is a community effort. Do you withdraw euros or local currency depending on the country you're visiting to spend during your travels, or using a credit debit card? Very good question, Lori. Do you want to answer that?
We use a credit card.
Yeah. We use credit cards most often, but if we need cash, we get cash from the ATM in euros.
Yeah.
Or whatever the local currency is. And we do not accept the conversion rates.
Never accept the conversion rate.
Do not accept the conversion rates, because why are they offering you this? Because they're going to make money off of you. That's why. And it's interesting. I remember going on vacation. I remember us taking money out and saying, oh, yeah, whatever, right? Like, for one thing, because I'm in a rush, because there's a line behind me, and God forbid we hold people up because we know how Americans are. Well, everywhere else in the country, they ain't tripping. But I didn't know that at the time. And so I accepted the conversion rate, not understanding that it was probably anywhere from 3% to 10% more expensive to accept the conversion rate. So, while we travel, we mainly use our credit card. Any place that they take a card, we use it so that we can get those points even while we travel. But some of the mom and pops and other things, tips, et cetera, you want to have some cash. And so just a reiteration, do not accept the conversion rate. I will give you an example. Try to take $200 or 200 euro out of the ATM. If I had accepted the conversion rate, it would have charged me $240. $240 to get 200 euro. Our bank charged us $12. So it was $212 as opposed to $240. All right. So that is the difference.
I haven't used a standby ticket in a long time.
I know. The only like I used to do this when I traveled for business
Yeah.
because the meeting would end early or something, and it's like, okay, I'm ready to go. So I go to the airport, ahead of time. My flight's not for 4 hours, but there's another flight leaving in 45 minutes. Can I fly standby? Can you let me on at no extra cost? Um, then the other thing is we had family members and things like that work for the airlines and had buddy passes and things
Yeah.
like that. You usually fly standby. Um, I think if you have a very flexible schedule and you have not booked accommodations necessarily, then or you're staying with family or friends, right? Then flying standby is okay. I don't have the temperament for it. I don't like that kind of
Right.
stress. I just don't. I do not like that kind of stress. And so I think for those folks who are flying casually, who are staying with family and things like that, flying standby is probably a good option and can really save a lot
Yeah.
of
It
money,
could.
right?
Yeah.
Um, but if you are going on an exotic vacation, right? If you are going to Thailand or something like that, and you've got Airbnb booked and this and that, I'm not sure that's the way you'd want to go.
Yeah. And actually, Action VJ just gave one of the hidden gems. Consider flying into a cheaper city or
Yes,
location.
yes, yes, yes. Sorry if you hear the people laughing outside. So, one of the things, the first time we came to Europe, it was less expensive for us to fly from Denver to London than it was to fly from Denver to Madrid. And so we got round trip tickets from Denver to London for under $300 per person. Then I upgraded us on the way back to first class. But so even that $300, let's just say not upgrading, that $300 and then what it cost us to get from London to Madrid was still considerably less than what it would have cost us to get from Denver to Madrid. All right. And so our ultimate destination was Madrid.
Mhm.
But on the way back, because of how I booked the flights, we got 24 hours in London and got to explore a little bit of the city to see if this was someplace that we wanted to come back to.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yes. And even sometimes coming to Lisbon, going through France, going through Paris may be less expensive. Here's another pro tip. Let's just say you are going from the United States to Lisbon to Italy or something like that, and you're going to fly Air France. A lot of the airlines that belong and or subsidized by the country will offer a 1, 2, 3 day layover at their cost in their city. So if you're going, let's just say from Denver to Italy, and you're going to do a layover, and you're going to take Air France, you're going to pass through Paris because that's probably where they're going to connect you, right? Um, it is conceivable that you can get 2 days hotel, 1 day, 2 day, 3 days hotel in Paris at the cost of Air France, and then go on to Italy. Right. And so that's another pro tip that you should consider. And that's not just for Europe. If you're taking Emirates and you're going through Dubai, right?
Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera. Like a lot of these airlines offer these types of opportunities. So another way that you can have your luxury vacation on a beer budget. On the sit, I just finished one of the male cats peed on my clean clothes. Oh no. He or she was so pissed off. What were they upset about? The sit before the male cat peed in the bed right before I went to bed. Otherwise, my experiences have been great. Okay. When cats pee on stuff like that, they're upset at you. And so the question is, are they upset at you, Pinky? You're not giving them enough attention? Or are they upset at their owner and taking it out on you, right? Cats are something else. Cats are something else. But I have to say, we have not experienced that.
No, we
Now, the
have
cat I
not.
used to have when our youngest was very, very young, yeah, she used to do some stuff like that. But we have not experienced any of
We had a
that.
crazy dog, but we didn't know cats. No
Okay,
problem. They were just chill.
right? Exactly.
And it
Exactly.
might, maybe because they were older and they were used to certain things. He used to, well, the one cat was
Yeah,
a,
but in Girona, they were still kittens.
yeah, okay, the kids that, yeah, but they were like, they weren't going to pee in the bed because they slept in the bed.
Yeah, especially when we weren't in it.
Yeah, when
You
you
know.
weren't in it, they shoot them cats
Yeah, they did sleep in the bed, but I wouldn't let them get underneath the sheets. They just got underneath, in between the
in between
comforter
the
and the
comforter.
sheet, because so I don't allow that. Um, all right, so we're going to be there from November 2nd through the 9th. All right, Allison, so send us an email, hello@ourblackutopia.com. And you're coming during the Move to Portugal Summit. So that first weekend during November 2nd, that's not going to work. But after that, right? Okay, so send us an email and we'll see if we can get together. All right. I'm going to start marking where we are, and we're going to get back to what we were doing. All right. So we talked about flights. We talked about budget accommodations. That's number 2. Number 3, discovering the hidden gems.
Yeah, we
Tip
went through the first one.
Tip number 1: research lesser known destinations within popular areas. Yeah. So we talked about that, but I think the other part to that is like, okay, so for instance, when I saw that, can you close that window, because these people are doing karaoke out there, and I don't know if y'all can hear it. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but it's loud. It's loud
At 10 o'clock.
at 10 o'clock at night. So one of the things that we did when we came here the very first time, so once I saw that the Airbnbs that were available in the Lisbon area proper, Lisbon proper, right, the city center, were not within our budget, I started googling. I started googling. All right, I started googling other places to stay in the Lisbon metro area, and someone had talked about Casillas and Almada. And so I'm like, okay, well, tell me more, right? And once I found out that it was literally Casillas, once you got to the ferry, was a 10-minute ferry ride from the city center, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, let's check this out. And the prices were like 30 to 50% less expensive on the other
On the
side of
other
the
side of the
river
river. Yeah.
with my late booking than they were in the city center. Now, what that got, like, we were able to explore a part of the Lisbon metro area that most people don't even pay attention to, especially because we wanted to live here. That was so important. We got to see things um, outside of the tourist areas outside of the tourist areas that most people, and we were getting off at every other stop, right,
Right.
and of the metro over on the other side of the river and walking around. And that's where we started to see, oh, wait, look at all these black folks. Look at all these black folks, right? That was one of my first observations. But then also to see if these were areas that we would potentially want to live in,
Right.
right? And then on top of that, right next to is Stubal and all of these other areas. They've got some wine tastings and things like that. So there was all of these off the beaten trail areas that we were able to explore simply because I was not willing to pay the price that they were asking for those Airbnbs in the metro or in the city center. And so that brings us to number 2, because I was just basically saying that.
Use social media and
Yeah.
travel blogs to find unique spots.
Right. And so even going to Thailand, like, we've got someone who's been there before, and she showed us where she's staying and this and that and the other, and, book places around that. I'm gonna Google it, y'all. I'm gonna Google it. And so I did. And I found, some bloggers who, or vloggers or both, right? Who are Thailand repeat offenders, right? Like they've been to Thailand multiple times in their travels and they've decided, which places they prefer and why. And they've got all this whole list of the different areas, what the key things are, what they liked about it with their personality. So understanding who they were, I could understand, okay, well, I don't care about that, but oh, I do care about this, et cetera, et cetera. And those are the people who are really going to tell you where those hidden gems are and those things that are off the beaten path. Because if you just look at TripAdvisor, if you just look at Airbnb for experiences, and I think that you should do that, you're not going to necessarily find the places that are not necessarily on Instagram, but are an amazing way to experience the place and the culture.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, tip number 3.
You know, ask locals. One of the best things you can do is ask local folks best places to go,
Yep.
and different type of attractions that you can see and stuff. I mean, locals are proud of the place that they live,
Mm-hmm.
and they are always going to share that nugget.
With you.
Oh, you got to go here to eat. You have to try this. You have to do this because they understand that you're experiencing something totally new.
And they're proud of the place that they live, right? And so one of the things that I always do is if we have an Uber driver, Bolt, whatever ride share you're using, and they speak English, I'm gonna ask, okay, what do we have to see? What would you say, like if you were us, what would you say we should see? And that's how we learn.
And when you ask them, I mean, they just lighten up.
Yes,
and
they do.
are plethora of information.
Yes.
Oh, you have to do this. You have to do this, and you have to go here, and you have to check this out, and be here, and like I said, eat here, go here, and get something. This, this.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why, like the first time we went to Porto, we did Porto stuff. We did the typical stuff, right? We went to Taylor's and had a tasting.
Yeah, I went to wine tastings.
And this and that and the other. But now the second time we went, after talking to locals, we realized we need to taste these bifanas, which are right across the street from the train station.
Right across the street, yeah.
Right? And so, yeah. And here's the other part. It's so affordable. Mm-hmm. Because the locals are not going to be necessarily sending you to the Michelin star restaurants. They're going to send you to grandma's restaurant that has good food at an affordable price. Where are the locals eating? And this is another way where you can experience a country without breaking the bank. The best tacos, the best food that we had when we were in Puerto Vallarta.
And the best food we had in Puerto Vallarta was in a parking lot next door to the condo complex we were staying in.
Okay.
In the parking lot, y'all.
Parking lot. And it was the guy who was cleaning up like the leaves and this and that. He was one of the landscape people that I asked with my little broken Spanish, what's good? Where's the good tacos? And he's like, where's the good tacos? Right next door in the parking lot. These are the best tacos. And so, you see all of these places, what's it, Senor Frogs and all of that. That's like down. Yeah. They've got them in Puerto Rico. They've got them on the islands, right? Yeah. They've got them in Florida, Mexico. No, y'all, no. The best tacos were right next door.
Right next door.
$1 tacos. $1 tacos.
And they sold out every day, and they were always crowded.
Day.
If you got there at 2, they was through.
Yeah, exactly.
They was through. They was cleaning up on their way out.
Yep. That's where my weight gain started with those tacos. I'm just trying to tell you. Oh my gosh. All right. So we talked about discovering hidden gems and then local experiences on a budget. One of the things that I didn't know was a thing, but they had it in Brussels and they had it in Girona, are free walking tours.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're usually sponsored by like the tourist bureau in the city, right? And so the tour that we went on in Girona, it was free. And we just gave them a
You just
tip.
give them a tip.
And that was it, y'all. That was it. And we learned so much.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yep. Up close and personal type stuff. It's like, wow.
Yeah. And so the only reason we didn't do the free tour in Brussels is because I wanted to taste the chocolate and the waffles. And so I I booked the tour. I booked the tour with the waffles and the chocolate. But here's another pro tip. Oftentimes, especially if you are spending a lot of time. So we were there for 17 days, 16 to 18 days, something like 17 days, something like that in Brussels. I knew that we had days that with nothing planned. And so it tends to be less expensive if you book these excursions in country. Again, back to the VPN thing, right? I don't know if that's it or what. But one thing that I do know is some of the experiences at that price that I looked for once we were in Brussels were not showing up when I looked for them here in Portugal. Okay. And so even the first time that we visited Europe, I already knew I was going to book the excursions once I got there. Now for Thailand, because we're doing some really, really special things and hot air balloons and stuff like that, I'm booking in advance. But I'm saving days to book once we get there because I know how it is. One, what's the weather going to be like? Right. And then two, I know that some things show up as less expensive once you are in country. And then one of the other things that we like to do, like is go on to the visitor's website, go on to the city's website and see about all the local markets.
Yeah, what's going on?
Festivals and other authentic experiences. Okay. Everything does not have to be about, opening up your wallet. And one of the things that we loved about coming to Portugal, especially when we did, because June is the month for festivals. And we didn't realize. So it was like, it's just a Tuesday. Here we are. And look at this festival. There's music, live music going on, booths set up, families and kids are dancing, in the little makeshift dance area and beers on tap, wines on tap, et cetera, et cetera. And we could just sit there, people watch, experience the live music and all of that and not spend a dime. Not spend a dime. In Asia, and we will let you know more about this after we come back. But there's the night market.
Yeah, the night market.
Right, the night markets. And so even with that, yeah, you have to pay for the food, But obviously, paying for street food and having that authentic experience that other locals experience is going to be probably less expensive, more authentic, more adventurous than going to, the restaurant and the hotel.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, Brussels had what, 2,000 different types of beer at that festival. Of course, I was going to sample all that.
2,000 different beers, y'all.
Different types.
At their beer festival. That was going on. And then right after that, they had some other festival that was going on that looked like art and books and this and that and the other.
The comic books.
Exactly.
The comic, yeah.
Exactly. So, there's always something going on, especially in cities where there's density. And I say this is very interesting because we were helping someone talk about what their move here to Portugal was going to look like. And they were asking about single family homes. What we have found in the major cities of Europe is that they did not design these cities with sprawl in mind. Okay. Why? Because it's very, very expensive to create public transportation in cities that have sprawl. Makes sense, right? And so we've got density. That means a lot of apartment buildings. less gardens. That means people are spending time outside of their homes. They're spending time in the parks. They're spending time in the walkways and things like that, and in the squares where these festivals and things are happening. And so, experiencing these markets and festivals and all this is an ongoing thing that no matter, like, we just walked down to the river the other day and it's like, oh, here's another little festival. Why they here? We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. They were setting up, and they probably had them. They were setting
I think
up
they were setting up
a
down
stage.
the commercial square.
Exactly.
It was because they had a marathon, like the New York Marathon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
There's
they had the
always
Lisbon
something.
Marathon.
There's
Yeah.
always something. And when, I had friends here earlier, there was like the Angolan festival going on down there with music, and people were dancing in the square and things like that. There's always something going
Something's always
on.
going.
And it is assumed that you are going to spend time outside of your domicile and out in public spaces, which tend to be so much safer than they are in the United States. So you want to visit the local markets and festivals, go on to the websites for that city. So here it would be like the Lisbon City Tourist, and it's like a .gov, right? Like .pt type of website that you want to go on. You want to make sure that you go onto the official website so that there is, and then, you can go on to, meetup.com, the Facebook pages. If you are visiting for a certain amount of time, see if there's expat Facebook pages and they're having some kind of meetups and things like that. But for the local flavor, go on to the tourist site of the government website.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's always beach days.
Yeah.
Hiking
and beach days.
Right.
And
walkabouts.
Yeah, we call it the walkabout.
Right.
So, the one thing I really liked about Brussels was the park, that big giant park. I mean, it was like in the middle of Brussels, or maybe not in the middle of Brussels, but
it felt like it to us.
It felt like you were in the forest.
Yeah, seriously.
It felt like you were in the forest.
Huge, with a lake and this and that. And I mean, you could walk in it, you could kind of get lost,
Yeah.
There were shallow canyons and hills and this and that, all natural spaces as well as manicured spaces.
Oh yeah.
All within this huge park. And we found ourselves going there on a regular basis. It was beautiful.
It wasn't that far away from where we stayed.
Exactly.
And we didn't realize that.
We didn't realize that. God. And they had concerts in the park and other festivals happening in the park as well, right? So one thing is you just get to experience the park. But the other thing is that there were already other community events happening in the park. And so to have that luxurious vacation and still keep those costs down, think about all of the things that you like to do that don't cost money. Rick and I like to get our steps in. We like to explore the city on the ground, because going from here to there in an Uber, you really don't get a taste of the city. But when you're walking, you get a taste of the city or the town or the village that you are staying in, and you see things that people in cars don't see.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we get our steps in. We people watch. We go to little cafes and we'll sit and have a break and people watch. And there are all of these free things that you can do to add to the experience, to actually experience the culture, and it doesn't have to break the bank.
Don't be afraid to use public transportation in a lot of these places.
Yes, and we've told you. So the app is City Mapper, and it works in every city that we have been in. I'm just going to pull it up. City Mapper. This is City Mapper. All right, and it's green. It's a, let me see if I can get back to you. So
little
this
arrow.
Yeah, little arrows. Whoop. Come back up. See how this is doing? All right, right there. That's City Mapper.
Yeah, download City Mapper because it will bring up cities throughout the world.
Exactly. And it will tell you how to get from point A to point B on public transportation. It'll tell you what bus stop, like the bus stop number, because sometimes you don't know, am I traveling north, south, east, or west? Am I on this side of the street or that side of the street? If you don't know the city, you don't know what side of the street. And it's kind of hard when you're looking at the map to see what side of the street, but it will tell you bus stop number 342 or 343. One being on one side of the street, one being on the other, exactly what bus you're to get on, what tram you're to get on, metro line you're to get on. And then it will tell you when to get off. It'll say, prepare to exit. Your stop is coming up, right? And then it'll give you walking directions to your final destination. So City Mapper is the bomb. We always do our little Googles to make sure that we know what the public transportation situation is about. Do they have little temporary cards that we can put money on and just swipe? Now in Brussels,
we just use our
credit card. We use our credit card, y'all. On the trams in Brussels, you can just swipe on the machine, on the tram, on the bus, etc. You just tap it and it charges your credit card. And somehow, I suppose, if the tram police got on there, they would see that we had paid, because it's not spitting out any receipt or anything like that.
But they somehow they could tell that you paid.
Yeah. And I know some people were like, yeah, you gonna give me the benefit of the doubt.
Our cards do that here in Portugal too. That they can look at your card.
Oh yeah.
And see what you.
Yeah, our Metro cards, but I don't see how they do that with credit cards. I have no idea. All right, and then our bonus, packing, because sometimes those flights, those really good flights, like we were looking at flights in between Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Phuket, et cetera, and we were finding anything from like 24 euro on up to 80 euro. What is the difference? Sometimes the difference is how much luggage do you have. Mm-hmm. So I want to show you something, because this is something that we use. And so I'm going to show you this. So that's the backpack. That's the backpack. And so here you can put things. I stack my pants up here. I fold them, and I can fit like 7 to 8 pairs of pants in here. And then on here, you see there's a little, and I roll up the shirts and put them in there, pajamas, and put them in there. And then it squeezes down from the straps over here. It squeezes down like this and fits in that Tropic Fill backpack.
Then you can just take it out and hang it up.
Yes, and then you can hang it out, and it acts like a closet. So you can hang it up right here in a closet, and it acts just like a closet. So I can get 2 weeks worth of clothing in there. 2 weeks worth of clothing, and that's underwear, socks, pajamas, shirts, even sweater or two, jeans, right, as well as leggings and other pants, shirts, hoodies, etc. can all fit in there. And then it squeezes down, and you can put it on your back. That Tropic Fill backpack that we really like, we don't have a link to that, but I will put a link to something similar in the description below after this. Even has a place underneath to put an extra pair of shoes. All right. So you have the shoes that you're wearing and then the extra pair of shoes. Now, if we have a lot of stuff going on, I'm just going to show. Yeah. So, yeah, that thing comes out.
Yep. And you stuff shoes in there, and then it hooks right
and
here.
It just hooks. Yep. It's a really cool backpack, y'all. It's a really cool backpack. No, we do not have like a special link for that one, but there is one similar. And I'll put the link to get that one as well. I'll put both, a knockoff and the one that we have, because it is indispensable. And we got it before we started this journey. Mm-hmm. And again, I can fit 2 weeks worth of clothing in there, and then just with a carry-on and the backpack, and I'm good to go, right? And so paying for checked baggage and all of that stuff does not have to be a thing that you do. One of the mistakes, I told you we were going to talk about the mistakes. When we, our first trip to South Africa, it's only by the grace of God that we didn't get charged all of this money. Because when we went to Europe, we got charged on the way out.
Oh my God.
We got charged on the way out. We now have luggage scales, and
Yes.
we have luggage scales. So we always weigh our stuff, but we weren't weighing our stuff back in the day. Now in South Africa back in 2008, a little smile, little wink, wink, and they're like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it," because it would be $150, right, or 150 whatever at the time. In my mind, it sounded like $150, and I'm like, "Oh, hell no, hell no." We weren't even thinking about the weight of our bags back in those days, but that, and here in Europe especially, they do not play. They do not play, and that includes your carry-on. So carry-ons in Europe and other parts of the world are not as big as the carry-ons in the United States. So look at those measurements in advance and make sure that what you are considering a carry-on, they consider a carry-on in another part of the world or whatever airline that you are traveling on, and then weigh it.
And their weights, they don't weigh it in pounds, they weigh it in kilograms.
Yeah. You can do the conversion.
And most of the scales, the hand scales that you get will do all. It even gives you the temperature. They will give you. Yeah. It would give you kilograms, pounds, the whole works. Yeah. Date, time, and temperature.
Yeah.
And they're not expensive at all. You get them on Amazon.
Yeah. Do we have, so if we don't have a link for that, we will put a link for that in the description below. And that's what we have for you. So packing smart is tip number 5. Finding local experiences and things like that and hidden gems are tip number 4 and 3. Tip number 2 is about budget accommodations. Our biggest find, of course, is house sitting, right? But other than that, Airbnb. I don't like the hotel room. If I had a hotel, I'd want a suite if I had to stay in there longer than a day or two. And suites are very, very expensive. So those budget accommodations, traveling with friends and sharing accommodations, both can have an ensuite. And then you've got some traveling buddies or not, right? You can go your separate ways and just share accommodations, right? Or house sitting. House sitting is the best kept secret. And then we talked about finding affordable flights. All right, y'all. Now let's answer the last of your questions and let y'all go. Lena Johnson, hey there. All right. So I am looking through and I'm going to go ahead. Let us know if you've got any other things that you look at to find hidden gems or cultural experiences in the place that you travel to. That we have not mentioned, ways to find out about these things. Let us know in the description below. If you're watching from the future, hey. Let us know in the comments anything that we missed on how to coconut water keep you hydrated in Thailand. Okay, because look, the heat and the humidity, we're going to need all of the advice that you can give us. I was talking to one of our friends here who her and her family just came back from Thailand, and she was giving us some great advice. I don't know what I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. In my world, Mexican food is a food group.
I'm with you, Teddy, on that one.
Mexican food is a food group.
I'm with Teddy on that. Mexican street food is the best.
Right? And Friday, we called ourselves going to this Mexican restaurant. Y'all, they served me a taco with a flour tortilla. Now, I wanted to kick somebody's behind around that. All right. We've got 20 questions. We're going to get to these and we're going to let you go. All right. Okay. So we talked to Placido.
They can't wait to move back. Yeah.
So yes, well, we're looking forward to you moving back. You saw that in the chat. Mm-hmm. Wonderful. I've noticed that it seems less expensive to both use my VPN to search and also search as if I'm paying with euro. Yes, not the US dollar. Right. Because the euro is the euro. Now, it depends on the conversion rate at the time. But yes. But yes. So do the conversion and make sure that what you're seeing, because it's real easy to say, oh, it's just 7%. Oh, it's just 6%. But depending upon how much it is, it adds up. But yes, I found that to be the case too, Pinky. A lot of the times. H and R, that's us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out how I can stay there. I'm assuming you mean here
Here, yes, he
in
can.
Portugal, 6 months a year and still maintain a visa to citizenship track. And yes, I will attend the Move to Portugal Summit. Is my hope possible? Yes and no. Um, so I think you're asking this the opposite way. You only want to stay here 6 months of the year. So you need to be here. If it's consecutive, it needs to be 6 months and a day. Okay. So I would do like 180 days is 6 months, right? I'd do like 185 days. Like, don't play it
Mm-hmm.
close. Okay. Here. And then yes, you can maintain your visa if you are here at least 185 consecutive days.
Right.
Otherwise, it is 8 months. You have to be here 8 months out of a 2 year period. And then when you renew for the 3 year, so the first time you get 2 years, and then when you renew, it's 3 years, and you still have to be here 8 years. I mean, 8 months. That's out of a 3 year period. So at first, 8 months out of a 2 year period, then 8 months out of a 3 year period. That's non consecutive. But if you're going to be gone for a consecutive amount of time, then it has to be 6 months and a day that you are here. All right. Some Black folks move to different countries expressly because they do not want to see and associate with other Black people.
There's a lot of places they can go, but
I hope those folks are not watching Our Black Utopia.
I'm sure they're not if they want to do that.
I,
Oh,
wait, you know Tamara?
you know Tamara?
So no, she's not
No,
here.
she's not here.
She's back home. But you even spelled her name right. Where you at?
Where you know Tamara from?
Yeah.
Tam.
Right. Where are you going to? When are you going to Thailand? So we are going to Thailand at the end of November. That's when we're going to Thailand. So a few weeks after the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit, we're going to Thailand with a lot of other folks that you have seen here on Our Black Utopia. So we're really, really excited about that. This is our first time in Asia, and this is going to be a soft landing for us because we're going with at least, we'll be there at the same time with at least 8 other people that we know. So this is going to make it a lot easier. So when we go back, I won't be so intimidated because I want, so y'all know Exodus Summit is going to Vietnam in February. Again, I'm speaking at the Exodus Summit, which is next week. A link is in the description below. Look, if you want to bop around the world, if you want to get to go on a sabbatical or to move abroad, but not to Portugal or even to Portugal, Exodus Summit in the description below for Black women. And of course, the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit is they work hand in hand. They work hand in hand. So that's where we're going. Okay, when you get back from Thailand, plan a show to tell us about it. We need all the details. We will be doing lots of filming. He's taking his drone. We're going to do all of the stuff, right?
Yeah, Mel's going to have his too. So.
Yes. So we'll have 2 people with drones there. We will have lots of footage and everything for you. We still have lots to show you from Belgium. So you will see that in a few weeks. But yeah, we will definitely do that. So you know how we roll. You know how we roll. Just got here. Are you all heading to an Asian country? If so, where? Yeah. Deep Connections. Hey there. Welcome. Yes. You sound like a new name. So yeah, right now we are in Portugal. This is our home, and we are here until the end of November. So we will spend Thanksgiving in another country, but until then, we are here in Lisbon, Portugal. Remember the horror movie
Yeah,
Hostel? Okay.
all the Hostel movies. Yeah,
No, I don't remember.
I remember them. They had a whole string of. It was crazy.
Okay, Lena.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you, Lena. I got it.
No, I don't know. And I don't like horror slash terror movies. I don't like them, especially the ones that are realistic. Now, the ones that are like, yeah, right. I it don't really bother me, but the ones that are like, okay, that could happen. I don't like those. I don't like those. Do you fly economy with lots of stops to street your legs or business class nonstop? Okay, thank you, CK. Good question. So one of the reasons why we brought up the fact that like Air France and other um, um, airlines like that offer a layover where they will pay for accommodations is just so that you don't feel compelled to need to buy business class on these longer flights, right? So if you can split it up half and half and know that in between, let's just say when we the first time we went to South Africa, it was what, 24 to 26 hour flight,
Mm-hmm.
but we had stops, right? But we were traveling for 24 to 26
Yeah,
hours,
that's
y'all.
gruesome.
It was crazy. And even going from here to South Africa, that was like
That was a
15
long trip.
hours,
Yeah.
right? I look, that day I was in such a bad mood. I said, if these people don't open this door, I'm about to lose my mind. But if you can split that up with a layover, a 2 to 3 day layover, then it doesn't feel as bad. So usually we do fly economy. I don't up. We're not at the point yet where an upgrade to business class is automatic. If I can do it with points, then I will do it with points. If they've got some special going on where I can upgrade it and it doesn't seem like ridiculous, then I will do that. But more times out of not, we will fly economy and then I will upgrade for the extra leg room. And then I try to go on airlines that already have a better class of economy, like an Emirates. Please talk about points. I have six figures in points on two cards and don't know how to use the points. CK, CK, CK. So it depends on where you have your
Where
points.
your points are.
So if you have your points on an airline credit card, then you get to use those points on that airline or anything in that um, uh, syndicate. So with, I guess, I don't know how else to explain it. So for instance, United Airlines is aligned with about 7 to 10 other airlines, and they have their own network. I can't remember. Maybe I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, the Sky.
Something or other, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And then
No, the Star Alliance.
Star Alliance.
Star
Thank
Alliance.
you. I thought it was something Star, but then I thought I was thinking about the back of the ATM card.
And a lot of airlines are on Star Alliance, like United, TAP. I think Brussels Airlines. So you got a lot of airlines that belong to the Star Alliance.
And then there's other ones. There's other networks, right? And so if all of my points are on our United card, then I could conceivably transfer those points to the Brussels Airlines, to TAP, to other ones, right? And use those points. You go online, you log in, and where it says benefits and or points or something like that, click that, and it will walk you through how to transfer those points or how to book and use those points. It's really easy when you are booking on an airline because, like, when I log into United, it already knows that we have a preferred United card and the points, et cetera, et cetera. Now, if you're talking about something generic like American Express or Chase, Personal Capital has a really good one as well. When you go on to perks or rewards, it will say, you can use rewards for an iPhone, show you all this junk you can get. Well, iPhone's not junk. Other stuff was junk because it wasn't usable. It was just junk. But something that's functional, I don't mind spending points on. Or it'll say book travel. Or it will say, so book travel is one option. The other option is how to use your points or how to transfer points to our partners. Okay. Every card has different partners, and those partners are not the same year after year after year. Okay. So you have to check every single time you're going to book to see if they have the same partner. So don't get in your mind like, I know my Chase will transfer to United Airlines, so I'm just going,
Yeah.
no. They might that contract might have been over last year.
Yeah,
So
you have to you have to definitely double check.
that's number one. Number two is sometimes they'll have a 2 for 1, 3 for 1, 4 for 1. So I remember um, the first time we came to Europe, one of our cards had like a 2 for 1 for Virgin Airlines. So I'm like, oh, well, okay, well, let me check the prices for Virgin Airlines because, like, if it's 2 for 1, if I get, for every 1 point, I get 2 points on Virgin Airlines, but the price is double, okay, that doesn't help us. But if the price is the same as British Airlines or United, etc., right? And I'm getting double the points. Now we're cooking with Crisco, right? Now we've got something. And so you always want for those cards that are generic, that are not tied to an airline, you always want to check before booking to see if they've got any specials going on with airlines, and then sometimes hotels and rent a car as well. So CK, don't sit on those points. When you come back to Portugal, go ahead and use those points. Or what I like to do is I like to save up the points for um, non-essential travel. So I save our points for vacation and emergencies and emergencies. So when we had to go back to the States because my mom was having medical issues and we had to make a last minute trip. When I say last minute for us, that was like within 3 weeks. I went ahead and used our points for that. So that's how you do that. Um, Yeah, I will pay for lounge access,
Yeah,
and we have paid for lounge access.
and we do get. Does United
hmm
they give us 2 free passes
Per card,
per card?
which is another
Yeah,
reason to apply separately if you have a partner, right? So he gets 2 passes, I get 2 passes. So
right.
that's 4 passes per year. And we definitely try to use those. So, like when we go to Thailand, we're probably going to use our passes. The other thing is the membership that we have with Trusted House Sitters also gives us 2 lounge passes. And so I use lounge passes, especially for those longer trips and or when we have like a 5 o'clock flight and then of course checkout is at 11 or something like that. And it's like, you know what, that's really not enough time to
Right.
explore the city and I
Yeah.
don't want to be rushed.
So you want to hang out at the airport,
Yeah,
but you want to be comfortable. And I mean, when we flew, where were we?
South Africa, the last time we were in lounge.
No, we were in the lounge when we went either coming back or going back across the ocean
Okay.
to LA or something like that. 'Cause
Okay.
we were in United.
Okay.
And we would tell you, but we ate and we were there like all day.
Yeah. Yeah. And also in South Africa, we also were.
Right,
And
right.
so, yeah.
But
And
yeah,
so
we were
food
there
comes
too.
with it. For those of you who do not know about the lounges, to me, it's worth it, even if I have to pay. Now, I always, before I pay, I always go in and check out the facilities because all lounges are not
No,
created
they're
equal.
not.
So I know United lounges are always nice, but some airports, like if the United lounge is in a different terminal and it's like, okay, I don't want that headache, I'm gonna have to go out of security, come back in security and do all of that stuff, then we will find what lounge is in that terminal. And sometimes, for if it's anything more than $50, I'm really going to check. But like look, it's worth it. It's worth it because you know how expensive airport food can be. So,
To be able to take a shower.
but yeah, for $50, the last time we were in a lounge coming back from South Africa, I think it was either coming or going, I can't remember. Um, we chilled in a nice, comfortable chair, plug in our laptops, our phones, and all of that stuff. They had showers, all you can eat, all you can drink. And when I say all you can eat and all you can drink, I mean all you can eat, whatever is there, and all you can drink, including alcohol. And it was self pour for $50. And we were there for like 5 hours.
Yeah. And some lounges will let you stay for a certain amount of time.
You can pay by the hour.
You can
for
pay
some.
by the hour.
Yeah. Or some are just half day or full day.
But they're worth it. Lounges are definitely
it's worth it. It's worth it. Look, y'all, put that into your budget. Put it into your budget. Because really, when you think about how much airport food costs, it is a better deal. My girlfriend traced the world while living for free in the Buddhist center, operating the front desk is what I think you meant. She now has a house in New Zealand, just received her visa.
Wow.
See, this is when you trade your, some of your time for accommodations, food and accommodations, right? Or you do a work away or something like that. Y'all, there are so many opportunities to experience the world and still keep your budget. Right?
Leo.
Where?
Do you find Portugal too hot in the summer? Hello from Leo.
Oh, considering leaving cold, dark Belgium. No, Leo. So.
Or is he saying hello from Leo?
So I'm assuming this is Leo, and this is his handle. I think it depends on what you consider hot, right? Like if you're talking about Arizona hot, not even close. Not even close. I find that Lisbon is warmer than one would expect when looking at the temperature. What do I mean by that? So when it says 7, like when it's 70 in LA, I'm putting on a jacket. When it's 70 here, I only need a jacket if I'm sitting down in the shade and there's some wind. Otherwise, to me, it's warm. It feels warm. And so when it comes to the summer, it rarely reaches 100 degrees, but that's like, oh my God, it's 100. Like every once in a while, maybe 2-3 days in Lisbon, not in Porto, in Lisbon in the summer, it might reach 100 degrees. But on average, it's going to be in the high 80s. And even still, I can say, our apartment has air conditioning, and I can probably count the amount of times we turned on the air conditioner, because at night it gets cool. You cool the house off. It stays pretty cool. We're not at ground level. We're up a little bit. And so we get a nice breeze. And so it's not until like 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock that it's like, oh, okay, maybe we turn on the AC, but usually just a fan will work. So no, we don't find it that way. Again, if you want to hear from folks who live here, come to the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit. Information is in the description below. What area are you in? During Juneteenth this year, I stayed in Príncipe Real. It felt remote from most of the things to do. Príncipe Real actually is in the heart of the tourist area. I wouldn't want to live there. It's cool. It's older. There are parts of Príncipe Real that may be a little bit more local. But the parts that we can see from the main thoroughfare, when we look up and we see the church and all of that, that is very much in the tourist area. But no, like you're never too far away from anything. And actually the place that, Black in Portugal had their Juneteenth celebration was, technically walking distance from Príncipe Real. Mm-hmm. Now, had you taken an Uber with the one-way streets and stuff like that, it might have seemed far. Yeah. But Príncipe Real is on this hill, and then there's the dip where there's Avenida Liberdade, and then you come up on the other hill, and that was where the thing is. So as the crow flies, we're talking 10-15 minute drive and maybe a 20-25 minute walk, only because the hills will slow you down. So Jazzy D, there is really not a place in Lisbon proper where you're that far from anything else. feels farther than it is. But it's not. It really isn't. So, what area are we in? We are in Peña de França, which is in between Arroyos, Arroios, and Graça, which means grace, Graca. Did you guys ever get a chance to visit those bookstore museums in Brussels, like Cook and Book and stuff? No. Some of those rainy days, we were just like,
Yeah, we was chilling.
We're going to go to the store to make sure we've got some food, and we ain't leaving. We're going to sit out on this deck, which is covered because it wasn't that cold. But other than that, yeah, no, we didn't get to do all of the things. But, we're here. And so going back is not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, baby?
No, I was going to say it's not one of those, bucket list trips.
We don't do bucket list trips anymore. We don't do bucket list trips because a bucket list trip means that you have already decided in your mind that you will never get to do this again.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like what, a 2 hour, 45-minute, 2 hour flight, like flying from Denver to LA.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're in Belgium.
Yeah.
So,
you've got to change your thinking on this whole thing. Change your thinking and get out of the bucket list trip and into the next adventure. Because, when we went to South Africa the first time, we felt like we would be back, but I think deep down inside, we didn't think we'd really be back. And yet we were.
And we went back.
And yet we were. All right. Okay, so we answered that. Considering registering with the STEP program through the State Department? Yes. So for those of you who do not know, gives critical weather and political information that could impact your travel. So for those of you who don't know, this is through the State Department, and people do, like, if we were living in the United States, I would do this more often, especially if I were traveling to places that like if we were going to Israel, I definitely would register. Any place that I think has an opportunity for a little bit of unrest. But it's just a good habit to be in. You register. They know you're gone, and then you will have record. The State Department will have record that you are in another country, and if there's something that happens, they've got your name on a list as a person. Like, okay, so where is this person? Did they come back home? I've been a little negligent lately, I must say, in registering with the STEP program. I do not take what the State Department says about travel and places that have that we should watch out for, because it's looking at it through an American lens. And so, for instance, when we went to South Africa the first time, there was a travel advisory against going to South Africa because
xenophobia.
Yeah, there were Africans coming over from Zimbabwe to South Africa for job opportunities, and the Black South Africans were getting upset, because I'm sure there were some politicians talking about immigrants are taking your jobs as opposed to fixing the problem. Now, I wasn't paying attention to their politics at that micro level in those days. We just knew that this was happening, and that the organization that we were traveling with, which was my grad school, had canceled. So I called my play uncle, who was from LA, good friend of my dad's, who was living in Johannesburg at the time. My stepmother was there as well, but she was in the States at the time on business or whatever. So I called him because he was there, and I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" He's like, "Look, you from LA? Come on over. It's blown way out of proportion." So after that, I've taken what the State Department says about travel advisories with a grain of salt. I like the travel advisories more that talk about don't go to Georgia if you're pregnant and stuff like that. Don't go to Florida if you're gay, right? But it's something to look at and then do your own homework. Mm-hmm. Do your own. Do your own homework.
I think she was talking about the bag.
Oh. Well, no. So
It's not as heavy as you think it might be. I mean,
because it's got to weigh what it's got to be able to weigh. So
right.
I so that means no more than 9 pounds on the last flight that we took. You know. Um. So yeah. Will you visit Japan while you're in Asia? I'm guessing your layover to and from Bangkok may be there or Singapore. Hey, Nichelle. So no, this is not going to be the Japan trip. Let me go ahead and hide that. This is not going to be the Japan trip. And some folks are going also to Malaysia, and we're not going to even do that because to me that was just too much bopping around. Just too much bopping around. So we're sticking to Thailand, 3 cities, and then just do a couple of days in Singapore, which is muito caro. So it's very expensive there in Singapore. So just a few days in Singapore and then just Thailand. And if we do meet up with Exodus Summit to see Vietnam, then maybe we will tag Japan onto that. I don't know. We'll see. All right, y'all. So I think we did it. Let us know. Let us know. What did we forget? We have been doing this travel thing, and y'all know that we have been here in Portugal for 2.5 years, although official for 2 years and a month. And we've done a lot of travel in that time. Half of it has been with house sitting. And so that's how we've been able to see other parts of Western Europe. As a matter of fact, every single trip that we've taken outside of Portugal has been a house sit. And then we base other stuff around that and add other things around that. So we got to see parts of Spain that we had never seen, parts of England that we have never seen. And then, of course, Belgium, which we had never seen. And this was one of the major ways that we were able to have a luxury vacation and stay in nice digs, y'all. Nice digs.
Oh, yeah.
For no money, or just to get to babysit some cats or whatever, right? And so this is one of the best kept secrets. For all of those links, they're in the description below. I am redoing the budget travel toolkit. I will have that to you in the next 24 hours because it's already 11 o'clock here. I'm looking at our watch. And with that, if you are coming to Exodus Summit and you're a Black woman and you want to take a sabbatical or get out of town, bop around the United States, the world, or move abroad, Exodus Summit is the summit for you. When I did it in October 2021, by January 2022, we were giving notice. By May, we were out of Dodge. All right. That's what Exodus Summit will do. Same with the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit. You saw the testimonies in the chat. If Portugal is the place, the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit, everything from taxes, immigration, healthcare system, and everything in between will be discussed there. That information is in the description below. And if you just want to get your money straight, Beyond the Bling, our financial freedom course for those who are late bloomers like we are, or you can just book a call. If you got questions, you're like, I ain't going through all that stuff. You can just book a call. You can just book a call. That information is in the description below. And Kimmy, yes, we will see you at the Exodus Summit. We love y'all. And we will see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.